Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, people? How we doing? How we feeling? How we looking, man? It's your dog Toddy checking in tonight on this wonderful Thursday night. So how's everybody doing, man? How's everybody doing? Of course, we got the Falcons coming up on Monday night, which is our fourth prime time game. And I tell you what, if we don't start back winning, they gonna take us off prime time like they did before. We had went years before. We was on prime time. So if we don't start back winning, they're gonna see fit to revoke our prime time game privileges. So we really need a good showing against a Raiders team who we undoubtedly, should beat and should really be able to go in there and dominate. So let's just go out here and have a good showing, man, and let's start back winning. Let's start back winning. One thing about our fan base and most fan bases, when you're losing, you're in a bad mood. When you start back winning, things look, sound, smell a whole lot better. As we all know. What we're gonna do is, y'all, speaking of losing, speaking of our Falcons, we've seen a lot so far this year. So I really wanted to bring one of my friends on and just get some, what I deem professional insight. From somebody who actually played the sport at a very, very high level, the highest level that you can actually play the sport, and just get some professional insight, because y'all know how it go when us Falcons fans, we start losing, man. We start debating with each other nonstop. We start arguing with each other nonstop. We start pushing our agendas on each other. And sometimes you need that mediator to come in here and look at things from a more neutral perspective. So holler at one of my guys, man, and ask him would he come sit in with us with a therapy session as Falcons fans, because y'all know we be needing some serious therapy sessions, boy, dealing with this team, man. So we're gonna bring our guy on, and he gonna rap with us and tell us what he think about the team. I'm happy to introduce, as I said, one of my friends, somebody I went to battle with in high school, and he got lucky that they won and got their ring. But I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there tonight. Won't go there tonight. But Atlanta legend, damn good dog, and also former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, Mr. Quincy Carter.
What's up, family?
QC, how we doing, Playboy? How you feeling tonight?
We good. We good. My man with the 75 grand, man. I appreciate the introduction, man. But I'm good, man. I appreciate you, though.
Always, man. Let me first start off and thank you for your time to come on here and talk to us, man. You see me on Facebook all the time, wilding out in my feelings about these Falcons. So I had to talk to you, man. Every now and then we talk offline about the team, and you give me some of your perspective and some of your thoughts, and we'll talk about that briefly tonight as well. This is your second time on the show, so you officially family on the Atlanta Bird game, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so with that said, we don't necessarily have to do like the typical biography, because you talking to an Atlanta fan base, so we all know you, we all know your resume. So we'll go ahead and get started. We want to talk a lot because our fan base and our team right now, we're going through quarterback controversy, quarterback problems, quarterback issues. So it only felt right to bring you on as a former quarterback. And I want to make a point to let everybody know there are about 1.1 million high school football players in America. And the percentage of those that'll make it to the highest level, like Quincy did, the NFL, is about 0.023. So it's actually less than 1% of NFL of high school players are actually going to make it to the NFL. So anytime you have a someone who's played in the NFL currently or in the past, you're talking to someone who has a very, very special, rare, and unique skill set. So with that said, Quincy, can you tell us a little bit before we dig into these dirty birds about the impact your former coach and and pardon me if I'm stepping over boundaries, but I'll even call him a mentor to you. What impact did Buck Godfrey have on your life, and what lessons did he teach you along the way?
Man, I can go on for days, honestly, talking about his impact and what he actually still means to me to this day. But I'll give you an example, and probably my biggest example of what I tell people. I played with some great coaches, Bill Parcells, Sean Payton, uh, in college. Coach Donnan, he don't get the credit for. I don't think he don't get enough credit for his expertise and being a great coach. Also, Herm Edwards, and I tell people this all the time. The biggest example I can give you is that within my struggles, man, in life, there were some tough years. Me battling my addiction, still is. I'm still a drink away, or a smoke away, or a sniff away from ruining everything away, and I'm just real about it. But man, when I finally turned back on that light in 2019 and woke up and started really dealing with, my life personally, man, I took it all the way back to high school. And that phone call, yes, with Coach Godfrey. And Coach Godfrey was with me through some tough times too, from 2005 to 19 before I really turned it around. But when I flipped back on that switch, man, and really, started looking at myself and getting back on my knees, I flipped on that 12, 13-year-old kid that was going to Southwest DeKalb, was heading to Southwest DeKalb as an eighth grader. And what he instilled in me, the faith and family, and hard work and dedication, it just came back in me. And all I had to do really, honestly, man, is just turn back on that switch to the hard working Q, the Q that, they had direction, was a leader, and all those facets in life, man, Coach Godfrey gave me. One, being a leader; two, responsibility; three, accountability. It's just, and the biggest one, and shoot, I probably should put that number one, is our faith, man. Like the people that he surrounded us with, the Danny Bugs of the world, getting our whole team baptized at New Birth, and being a part of a culture that was about, the team and not letting, the next man down. And all those attributes, man, and facets of life. Um, when I turned back on that switch, man, I was turning back into the man, the young man that Coach Godfrey, started to mold and make as a 13-year-old young man. So that's how much he means to me, man, and that's how much he's meant in my life.
Your quarterback school that you currently run, can you tell us about the joy and the satisfaction that you get with working with kids? And you just mentioned what an impact Coach Gofford was to your life. So what kind of impact does that bring you now, that you're working with the next generation who's gonna one day eventually become the next Quincy Carter?
Man, they make you young. They give you energy, and when you love it so much, you're always trying to push a young man to the next level. Coach Godfrey, and I've got a lot of his old school, teachings, whether it's fundamentally, whether it's trying to take somebody to the next level, emotionally, and the things that they bring to the field from the household. But just knowing the young man for himself, and like I say, man, just trying to get him to the next level. Like, Coach Godfrey, it was almost like it's almost like brain surgery, if I could put that into words. And him just trying to make sure you understood, the grind of what you was trying to accomplish on an everyday level, man. And he made sure we were tuning up every, facet of our game, and that was whether it was on the field or whether it was off the field. And I just try to get these kids what was given to me, and I love it so much, man. But that love comes from having guys like Coach Buck Godfrey around, having guys like Coach Steve Davenport around, the Coach Carters of the world, my offensive line coach, Coach Barrow. Man, it's just so many, guys that were influential to me. Heck, even Coach Donnan, Coach Payton, Sean Payton, Bill Parcells, they all put it in me. And in some kind of ways, it comes out, and I'm just giving it back to the kids, and heck, they giving me something back too. So man, it's all working hand in hand together, to be honest with you.
Speaking of your kids again, you are really now to your young quarterbacks that you work with and that you teach. You're now their quarterback whisperer. You mentioned that Pep Hamilton is a quarterback whisperer. Would you
Yep.
mind telling us why?
Oh man, and I can't even believe I hadn't said his name just yet. Man, Pep, it's personal because Pep got me as a 28-year-old, I think, 27-year-old when I went up to the New York Jets, and I was a broken, grown man when I went up there and getting cut from the Cowboys and everything that happened. And so Pep was just starting. He was a what do you call it? Quality control. He's one of the quality control guys, but his personal mission when I signed, Herm Edwards assigned him to me as far as learning the West Coast offense. And so it was just me and him in a room, 5:30 in the morning, man, every day when I got up, to New York in the middle of July. And it was just us, man, talking as men, talking about life. I just watched Pep daughter play AAU basketball game just last year. When he comes over and we do camps together, man. So our, we was almost growing together, to be honest with you, because I was in my fourth year, really getting ready to start trying to take off as a quarterback. It was my first time really learning the West Coast offense as far as the words, because we kind of ran it at Georgia, but it was a number system. But this was the words aspect of, saying words, like Ringo, Jet, Jet 3, crossers. So saying the words up in the West Coast offense up in New York. And, man, we just grinded that thing out. There's a lot of naysayers of why they signed me and everything. But he just got me prepared. And then when it was my time to go and Chad got, unfortunately Chad Pennington got hurt, I was ready, man. And shoot, and able to keep our team afloat. I think win 2 out of 3 games or 3 out of 4, one of them. But really, really have a strong bond relationship, man, that lasted for a lifetime, and that's why we still so close to this day.
Q, speaking of Georgia, you just mentioned Georgia. Speaking of Georgia, you have a former teammate who's a very famous college head coach now,
Mhm.
Mr. Kirby Smart. Do you mind telling us how was Kirby as a teenager? I mean, not excuse me, as a teammate when you both were younger playing with Georgia?
Man, it actually looks like a spitting image of him, when he was a player. And I'm not joking, man. I played with Kirby his senior year, and they were fresh off a 10, 11 game win season coming from that Outback Bowl, and I don't think, Kirby, besides Mike Bobo, I don't think Kirby ever really played for another quarterback. So, so his bond, and, him and Bobo, it go back to, heck, Little League football together. So his
Mm.
bond with his quarterback was very evident. So, we had a pretty good, relationship. I'll never forget, before the LSU game, my freshman year, and Kirby coming over to the locker room, coming over to my locker and telling me, you better not F this game up right here. Yeah, man. So his intensity to me hasn't wavered. The way he goes about preparing our dogs, man, from week to week, it's no surprise to me. And then the ultimate, he was able to sit back and learn from one of the greatest coaches in college football history, Coach Saban. So, but nothing surprises me about some of his pregame speeches or the way I've watched his team operate from a practice standpoint, and then seeing them operationally, in a game, and that was being on the sideline for that Clemson game, man. So nothing surprises me about Kirby.
As a former starting Georgia quarterback, and now a University of Georgia football fan, how concerned are you that we're now going to be missing Carson Beck through the playoff run, and we're going to be playing Gunnar Stockton? What's your concern level?
Honestly, man, it's not very high, and a couple reasons. One, I was able to see how the team reacted. We all seen that. There was a little, extra little boost in the team when Gunnar came in. But yep. I think that it was twofold. I don't think a bunch of guys like, oh, man, he's the best quarterback. Beck is hurt. We got our guy that we want. It's more of, okay, now everybody has to pick up the slack, because our leader's not there. And, you played on some really good Warner Roberts teams that, unfortunately came to the Dome and lost. I won't go there too tough. But anyway, that team camaraderie, man, and it's the next man up, and you can kind of feel that, during that game. So it'll be a different game plan. Heck, the first couple games, there's not enough tape on Gunnar Stockton. You know what I mean? To really prepare for him, we're talking about a half of football. So we'll definitely use that to our advantage. And then if Beck is not able to play, God bless him. But if he's not able to play, we rolling. We get the first one, then we get the second. Now it don't even really matter about the tape. Now Gunnar Stockton has confidence, going into that third game, that national championship game. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So there's some advantages, to having Gunnar come in there and play now.
Well said. Go Dogs. I'm going to start transition us, more into, current tense professional football, of course, namely the Atlanta Falcons. Something to do a little bit with Georgia and a little bit with the Falcons. This years later, Quincy, is still a big topic of conversation and controversy within the Falcons fan base. When we drafted Bijan Robinson 2 years ago, we had the opportunity to draft, standout defensive tackle Jalen Carter at the time, and the Falcons passed on him for whatever reasons. There probably was some issues that went along with that decision that we really won't get into. But I do want to ask you this: if you were the general manager of the Falcons at that time, do you take the running back in Bijan and putting your Georgia bias aside?
Yep.
Or would you have took Jalen Carter?
Man, that's a tough one. Because I know, I personally got to see Bijan's workout. No, actually, something? I personally got to see him up close in Austin. But no, he didn't. I'm sorry. I make that mistake. He didn't work out in Austin that day. No, he did. But I just got to see him, see him up close, see damn near every game, because I was living in Austin at the time, so I knew how dynamic he was. With that being said, there was, we got Big Grady, at defensive tackle too. So, that plays in a lot, having having my guy from Georgia. Why am I not being able to say his name right now?
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I'm tripping. And he got my last name, but Jalen Carter.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm pretty sure. I know, right? So I'm pretty sure, it was some juggling act of how many big guys do we need in the middle? Do we need an edge rusher, to combat what Grady does, who is a Pro Bowler, and all pro. So honestly, I think I'm being a little bit political, so I'm gonna shut up. But I would have picked. Bijan. I'll be honest with you. I would have, man. I would have picked Bijan. Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
Yeah, Bijan. Okay, so y'all see, it's on record. Quincy said if he was the general manager at the time, he'd have took Bijan Robinson also. All right, so that's something we'll continue to talk about. Quincy got a quick game that we play here for our guests. Real quick, we call it heads or tails. It's a very quick game. It's a rapid fire game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two options, and then you just pick which option you prefer. Unless stated, the context of the preference is on you. Unless stated, very simple, very quick. Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, college only. No, college. We'll just say college only. Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick?
Oh Lord, you gonna do me like that? Michael Vick got more on tape.
Michael Vick, okay.
Yeah.
College only, because one of these guys ain't stepped on the NFL field yet. So college only. Bias aside, Champ Bailey or Travis Hunter?
Champ Bailey, and that's no bias. That is not. I seen him do it in the SEC. I actually seen him literally, catch a punt return, kickoff return, go in the locker room at halftime and go straight to the IV and doing against the nation's best in the SEC. And no disrespect to Travis, man. But I don't, so while we on this subject, I don't understand why people don't remember Champ Bailey playing offense and defense. Yeah, Travis ended up with about 400 more yards receiving, but Champ Bailey was our leading receiver too in the SEC, and we didn't throw that much either.
Right.
So 900 yards Champ had would have been about 1,600 right now. So, but no knock on Travis. And then he won the Nursery Award too. Champ did. Yeah, so I don't understand how we missed that. Yeah.
Probably because at that time, we didn't really have a social media like we got now, so that kind of fades away out of people's mind and memory, I think.
Well, that makes it even worse because then there wasn't no distractions. You had to watch the TV, and then you had to be on Sports Center. What? I don't see how, especially 35 and up, I don't see how you missed that.
That's true. All right, Android or iPhone?
I was a big Android fan, but boy, this iPhone works a little bit easier since my job gave me one back in 21. iPhone now.
iPhone, okay. Pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders?
Ooh, don't do me like that. Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith. All right. Los Angeles or New York?
Oh, why? Both of them. Traffic's horrible. Let's go LA just because the weather. But both of them, that traffic situation in both cities is ridiculous. But LA for the weather.
LA for the weather. Weather in the palm tree. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. College only. College only. Todd Gurley or Nick Chubb?
You doing me like this?
Doing you like this, bro. I got to do it.
God almighty. I'm going to go Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
I'm going to go Todd Gurley, and I'm not even going to try to explain it because I might get cussed out. Too many dog fans.
All right. Lowndes County or Warner Robins?
I got so much respect for Warner Robins, man. I sat up and played in front of we played about 30, 40,000 people and only came out with 7 points. Yeah. Shoot, I got respect for Warner Robins.
Yeah, high school, boy. I say it now, they don't get the attendance like we used to do. Well, maybe I'm being biased, but
no, we ain't being biased. They don't get that attendance. Then plus, you got the internet, so everybody watching the game on TV at the house too.
That's true. All right, 5-1. Drake or Kendrick?
Ooh, I knew you was gonna do it like this. Look, listen. Since I popped off on your feed one day, it was just kind of I was baiting you to ask questions about the feud or whatever.
Right.
I, you know, I think I forgot a little bit because of some troubles in my life too. I wasn't probably listening to too much music or what have you. But I forgot about Kendrick's run in 2013, 14, 15 a little bit. So I had to go back, man. Well, good God Almighty, man, that's a tough one, man. What they do on Drink Champ? Now I can't. I don't drink no more. But still, give me a shot of grape juice. Yeah, matter of fact, let me drink some of this coffee.
There you go. I'll
leave that alone.
take a sip of my juice with you.
Exactly.
Appreciate you playing that game with us, Q.
Oh,
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move through the Falcons, man. I know I got to get you out of here pretty soon. So, let's go back to the NFL offseason, Quincy. Atlanta Falcons, they signed Kirk Cousins in free agency. They give him $100 million guaranteed over essentially 2 years for the most part. You got $10 million on the third year, so we're just gonna call it 2 years. And at that point in time, I was super excited when it happened, man. I was talking all kind of shit on social media, and I remember you had messaged me, you text me, you like, Kirk Cousins, you sure about that one? So tell us that's watching, why were you a little apprehensive about the Kirk Cousins signing?
Well, first off, it's because of Bijan too, and knowing, Kurt's a pretty much shotgun guy by now. We got up under the center last year, and I keep saying we like I'm a Falcons fan too, but I'm still, my heart's still there, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. But so we was getting up under the center a little bit with Bijan, and we had Algier going, and then that matchup, Kirk, kind of being a shotgun guy, and Bijan, kind of learning his way a little bit from back, 7 deep in the quarterback up under the center, and it's just you got to match them two guys up, and I don't think people do that well enough. I think they think outside first and then in and running the ball. Arthur Smith, he was a pretty, it was pretty evident that he wanted to run the football. So that one, kind of, I guess I questioned a little bit. And then, without, just tearing somebody apart, let's just say, Kirk just hadn't had the best, success heading down, the stretch of some seasons. Now the stats look good. But when we talk about, 10, 11, 12 games consistently for that type of money, I just didn't see that. You know what I mean? I think, if Kirk was listening, he may say the same, but at the same time, let's be honest, that's the asking price for the quarterback position these days too. So, but yeah, I just wasn't sure how that would mesh up, especially with the run game, because I do know, even the greatest of them, Tom Brady, we can dissect his career. When he had a running game, I think more of him being a little bit more unstoppable with that running game. So I always think like that first. So that was probably more of my thinking.
Gotcha. And I know the last time we spoke about it which was recently. You mentioned the grind to me. I have an idea of exactly what you meant when you said the grind, but can you explain to everybody what you mean when you said Kirk Cousins and the grind?
Kurt. You mean the grind, GRIND, right?
Yes, the grind of the season.
Yeah, Kurt's getting a little older now, and I know as quarterbacks, our legs, start to go, and it comes and goes on us, especially around week 8, 9, and 10, old Father Time is undefeated. So I could see some zip off his ball, even in the game that I went to, the Cowboys, so I'm always looking from the ground up. And I can see, him starting to lose a little zip, and so in that, with his, first year being in his offense, and the things that he's been good at, now we talking week 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on, now we got a good, idea of what you want to do, where you want to throw the ball, who you're trying to throw the ball, what downs and distance you're trying to throw the ball. So now everybody's got film on them now. And so, these DBs are breaking a little bit quicker. The reaction time's a lot quicker, and they're a little bit more, honed in on what he's doing. And the body, I think is kind of taking a toll on him a little bit. There's different reasons why, he's struggling.
And everything that you just said, I can see it. You can see the velocity on and the zip on those balls. They're not what they were in week 3, week 4, week 5.
Yeah.
So I can definitely attest to that. Quincy, I remember years ago, we were speaking a little bit on Mike Vick. And I remember vividly you saying, man, if Vic was playing in this era, he would just dominate the 707 camps. And you were just saying like how the game is a lot different now than when he played. Now, with that said, as you already know, the NFL, they've trended more toward athletic / mobile quarterbacks. Lamar, even guys like Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Jordan Love. The list goes on and on and on. That's the type of quarterback that's in now. With Kirk Cousins being the complete opposite of that, he's now what we term a statue as quarterback. Now, I want to ask you this. Do you think his playing style compared to today's NFL play calling style, do you think Kirk Cousins handicaps his offensive coordinator in any kind of way?
Man, that's a tough one to say because you just named one, Joe Burrow, who gets the ball out, doesn't have any hesitation. I think the most beautiful thing Joe Burrow does is not bring this ball from here to down. It is straight here, boom, boom. And, that's what I'm, always teaching and putting into my quarterbacks. But it's a few factors, man. I sat on the sideline and watched Chad Pennington play, and this was 2001, and we wasn't so much spread so much like these teams are today in the NFL. But one thing, teams did on third down, they tightened up their coverages. And so they made, quarterbacks like Kirk and Chad box them in and make them make tough throws on third down. And you can go back to some of these third down throws and plays. And that's where, these teams are, I guess, catching advantages on Kirk. But shoot, I got a list of guys who from 22, 23 is supposed to come in the league and be, some type of threat on the run. And now they're boxing them guys in and making them throwers. So, the Will Levis of the world, the Anthony Richardsons of the world, Sam Howell, I thought could kind of run around. You probably don't want me to mention his name, but Ritter. But some of these younger guys who getting boxed in and not being able to use their running abilities. So man, but then you get a guy like Lamar, you get a guy like Josh Allen, who's got supreme athleticism,
Yes.
and then has, good guys around them to put them in great positions. I mean, look at Bo Nix. One of my good buddies here, what was his coming out? What they got down in Alabama, the Senior Bowl or what have you. Mm-hmm. He told me, and I just knew he was just, just so happy to be coaching them. But my boy Chris Cook coaching offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals, I said, man, you just excited about being in the league, not coaching, whatever. I'm just messing with him. He told me Bo Nix is going to be the best quarterback in this draft. And I said, come on, man. And arguably with him and Daniels, kind of being neck and neck right now. But my point is, he went to a really good coach in Sean Payton. You know what I mean? So it's how guys to me are able to put their guys in position to make plays, and then ultimately, it's a third down, last 5 minutes of the game, and who makes the plays on third downs and who makes them, the last 5 minutes of the game. And if you can't do that, then you won't be mentioned with the best of them, and then you won't be playing late in January, and it's just as simple as it gets, man.
Very well said. Now I know he has only played a handful of. Well, he's only thrown a handful of NFL passes so far. But what's your initial thoughts on our rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr.?
Man, I see these names right here that I prepared for. The Bryce Youngs, I hadn't even got to 24 yet. The Bryce Youngs, the Anthony Richardsons, the Will Levis. Only C.J. Stroud in that class is right now is rising above. The Corrals, the Sam Howells, the Ritters. And the only guy who's having success, but now he don't have the guys around him, so he looks a little different, is Purdy. So my point is, it's got to be an organizational decision on how you develop these young guys. And now when you start and me and you have had many talks about this, these guys from 8, 9 years old, just with their head down, running the read option, and now they're slightly picking it up in college. But now the college coach is telling you, hey, we're only going to read this guy. And it's not kind of a full progression read. Well, if it's cover 3 on this side, and we got an out and a go, combination, that's the side we want to go to with a flat up underneath it or something like that. But then if we go cover 2 on this side, hey, we're gonna stick to the cover 3 side, with our 15-yard out and our flat up underneath. They're not being asked to do that. But now in the NFL, you're being asked to do that. Then you're also being asked now, to, hey, these 250-pound fofo running demons at defensive end, and these linebackers and guys like Grady running around chasing the quarterback now. Now we're gonna ask them to sit in the shotgun like you did in college and throw the ball 40 times, or be so predictable with the guy by your side. There's only 2 things, basically you can do in a run game, in your run game. And now you asking these guys to go out and operate so early. And so now, I think my guy, what's his name? Schefter said it, and I think I posted it a week or 2 ago. Now you got these guys who, that's not having so much quick success as we thought they were. Well, yes, because they're not playing the same game in college. So I think the Falcons are doing right, by kind of, grooming them. That was the plan anyway. That's the asking price, for Kirk Cousins, $50 million a year to win 8, 9 games a year. Actually, that's pretty good. My man in Jacksonville is doing it,
Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, that's the asking price for a guy to come in, and it's only for 2 years. So I think they're doing right. It's so many factors, in the trying to develop these younger guys playing a different game. And then here's the biggest thing, and people don't account for. These guys in college are playing 7 yards more as far as width because of the hash marks. Now you squeeze in the hash marks. Now this ball is not 7 yards, wider than it was. So you can't just spread out a whole defense now. Now you shrink them back in, and they're playing a different game. And people starting to figure it out that, some of these younger guys, man, it's going to take a little time for them. So I think the Falcons are doing what they need to be doing, and it's best for the franchise right now.
All right. So in other words, you're pretty much telling us Falcons fans, hey, man, stop being impatient. You just gave this guy a boatload of money. There should not be a rush to put Michael Penix Jr. in at this point in time. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely not this year.
All right. Well said. Also, you just mentioned something, and this clicked in my head as soon as you said it, Q. You mentioned organization, and I've heard you say that numerous times. one of your friends, and people don't realize how legendary you guys were when y'all were in high school. But Jamal Lewis, he was just on um your homie's podcast, Beehive. He was just on Beehive TV. I was watching him, and
Mm.
he said something that just stood in my mind. He was saying what a well ran organization the Baltimore Ravens were when it comes to how they did things structurally, how he explained how they drafted. We're gonna draft for defense, we're gonna run the ball, but he made a key point to talk about how important organization is. And he also kind of threw my Falcons a jab, but I ain't mad at him about it. He was pretty much saying if he'd have went to Cleveland or the Falcons, he don't think he would have been the same player. Is organization really that important? Obviously it is, but if you can kind of just expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I was there that day, man, listening to it. So I was keyed in just like you because I hadn't heard some of them stories from my dog either. But yeah, is how how you develop, players. All of us don't come in, with a silver spoon in our mouth. All of us don't come in, with great coaching, with great discipline. So to get that structure, then also, to have guys like Ray Lewis
Yeah.
and
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp, what's my guy, Tony Pacelli, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in heaven. So to have guys like that around, and then from the top, have that message echo, down through the locker room, man, is something special that you hope and wish for. And then Jamal went through some things too, man, and they stood behind him and got him, the right help, and then throw him up under the bus, man. And he's forever grateful, man, for that love. So no, it's very important. It is.
All right, and I also want to say, Quincy, man, I definitely appreciate your time. I'm about to get you out of here, man. Just a few more questions if you got a
We're
little bit more
good.
time. Okay, awesome. This is coming from this is a question that's being asked by the coach who's in the chat, but it's been something that this fan base has been talking about a lot.
Yeah.
Coaching, when it comes to coaching, what kind of coach do you think you responded to better as an NFL player? We're gonna bypass high school, we're gonna bypass college. Did you respond more to like was Dean quote unquote a player's coach like a Raheem Morris, or more of a hard nosed, tough on the players type of coach? Or what kind of coach did you respond to better? And second part of that question, do you think one coaching style or one personality style is better than the other?
Yeah. Man, I honestly, I think I was able to respond. Well, I mean, it's obvious. Bill Parcells got the best out of me. He was hard nosed. Is very meticulous as far as how we went about our business. Our weight, heck, we had to weigh in every week. I had to be 215. So shoot, I was back to my high school weight. But how he went about, preparing us, and I became a grown man with Coach Parcells. Learning how to watch film. Shoot, the coaching staff was beating me out the door at night. That year in 2003. But then, I was able to benefit from more of a fatherly figure with Herm Edwards. Shoot, I had went through the toughest thing that I ever went through in my life, and having his energy around, along with Pep Hamilton, man, having that was it was real vital. It was just almost like the Jamal Lewis situation, and they welcomed me in with open arms, man. But both actually they suited my life at the time. You know what I mean? From being a little bit undisciplined in 01 and 02, and then having Bill come in, and then having Coach Herm, through some of the toughest times of my life. So I was able to benefit from both. And as a coach, and I'm learning this too, because we're always learning as a coach, man. You've got to learn these players too. You know what I mean? You got to learn what ticks for certain guys. Shoot, we thought that Herm Curtis Martin was his child. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't do no wrong. But hey, but shoot, I've been the corner wrong, or something happens, whatever it is. Shoot, he's on my butt too. Now Herman get on your butt too with a smile with it too. So you got to learn your players. You got to learn what makes them tick. And so man, that's you as a coach, and staying grounded, man, in the man up above. That's what helps me to give me the wisdom to get these young men, because ultimately that's what it's really about. Giving young men an opportunity, man, to grow in Christ, and then also grow as a young man and accomplish their goals, man. So you got to get that wisdom from God, and you got to be able to spew it on them. So man, it's up to that coach to keep grinding and really know your players to get the best out of them.
Well said, Q. This is kind of like going to be a two-part question. First part of the question, of course, Raheem Morris is the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. When he got the job, he hired two first-time coordinators. First-time NFL offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, first-time NFL defensive coordinator in Jimmy Lake. First part of that question is, do you think that was a wise idea? That's the first question. Second part of the question, what do you think about our coaching staff? Do you think we got a good coaching staff? You think we got a bad coaching staff? Based on what you've seen their first 13 games in the NFL this season.
Well, first off, and I got to give my boy another shout out, Chris Cook, man, my boy. He told me when Raheem got the job, he said, man, the most interesting thing about this is that this guy can be an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. So the second part of your question just rung out in my head by having first year guys. He's able to help both, because he's done it all. You know what I mean? And then it's about, who fits your style of play, offensively and defensively, who fits your personality, the conversation, how you can gel the guys together. So it's so many factors that go into somebody making decisions like that, man. So I never question that, until we're able to, have a book or, some pages of their success or their failures. You know what I mean? But until then, we can't really, call that. Yeah, we can be a little bit judgmental from week to week on that standpoint. But there's different reasons why somebody makes a decision like that. And then, having the brains of, Raheem Morris being able to be an offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator is unprecedented. So I know it's a lot of factors of why he maybe chose some guys.
That's some great insight, man. When you look at the Atlanta Falcons roster from top to bottom, offense, defense, and special teams, on a scale of 1 to 10, and you can be honest with me, you always are. Where would you score this team? 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Just don't factor in coaching or none of that. Just talent on the NFL level, which you are very familiar with on the roster. Talent alone, from 0 to 10.
Man, talent alone. Man, I'm gonna go a strong 7.5. Because when you look at the rosters, especially defensively, you got some playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I mean, shoot, let's match them up with some of the receivers. Tight ends, I know Pitts may not have the numbers, but you go across the board. He's playing with some legitimate receivers. Then the backs, then offensive line that's improving. Man, I'm gonna go a strong 7.5, man. They got some playmakers. Yeah, they got some playmakers.
So can I correlate that and say if we're a 7.5, we should win 9 to 10 games based on being a 7.5? Is that a good correlation?
11 is a good correlation. It's 17 games now. Yeah, so 11 and 6 is not too far off. But everything's got a gel too. and they're learning to play with each other. Offensively and defensively. When the defense can get off the field on third downs. Hey, not turning over the football. And they've lost some tough games this year too. But that record could easily be flipped too. Let's just be honest about it, man. So, no, they've got a roster to win at least 10 or 11 games, though. They do.
All right, I'm gonna put you back in the hot seat.
You love that too.
I do love that. I do love that. Wish you would have hired Bill Belichick if you had opportunity like Arthur Blank did, before the season started?
Man, that's a tough one, man. And I'm gonna go ahead and be all the way political on this one, since
be honest. Be honest, Q. Be honest.
Yeah, because you've gotta take into account of everything that a great coach like Bill Belichick is coming with. You know what I mean? That's damn near like hiring a GM and a coach. And are you ready for something like that? And then are we ready to have a black coach and to lead our team and lead our football team? So, man, that's tough, man. Man, that's a tough call. That really is, man. Matter of fact, this seat about to get Luke warm. I'm getting up off that hot seat. No, that's a tough one there, man. I ain't messing with that one too tough. Because, man, this is a black city too. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So to galvanize the troops, and I don't want to be racial or whatever, but I mean it's real. And then to bring an old school guy, like Coach Bill Belichick in to basically run your whole franchise now, man, that's a big call. That is.
All right, and also another thing, Quincy, is there's been a lot of criticism levied on General Manager Terry Fontenot, and maybe he takes a little bit too much of the blame, but he is the general manager, so he got to eat some of the criticism. And I say maybe he's taking too much of the blame because when he initially got here, he had a different head coach, so there's probably a power dynamic there when it came to draft strategies. But my question is, do you feel like the Falcons built the team wrong? And when I say that, I mean you start off your rebuild, you take Kyle Pitts, a tight end, at 4th overall in the draft. You come right back, you take Drake London, 8th in the draft, the wide receiver. Then the following year, you're gonna get Bijan at 8, and then of course we got Michael Penix at 8 this past draft as well. So that's four consecutive years of picking in the top 10, and you taking offensive skill position players. Do you feel like that was a wise way to kickstart a rebuild for an NFL franchise that has really been struggling?
That's where the success has come from. The Matt Ryans, the Roddies, yes, exactly. And they had a lot of success, on the offensive side of the ball. And I know what you already know what you're thinking right now. Okay, well, that didn't get us a Super Bowl, so why you just didn't go defense this time? I watched too much of you. I know you. But man, it's tough, man, to have success and then to just say, hey, I'm just going to go away from that. That's one of the thinkers of hiring, tough-nosed guys too. Like Arthur Smith, and then that offensive toughness, relays over to the defense, and then we just fit pieces in, and we get good free agents to fill some of these holes, man. So it's tough going around it. Going year to year and trying to fit those pieces in, man. I know how tough that is, and some of it is like the lottery. To be honest with you, and then me and you get to just sit back and dissect some of those decisions, man. But man, it's tough to go away from what got you a lot of success too.
You make a good point, man. A lot of it is like the lottery. Sometimes you just get lucky. You just get lucky. Did nobody think Tom Brady was going to win 7 Super Bowls and he got drafted 6th or 7th round?
Exactly, and you couldn't tell me C.J. Stroud was going to come in the league and we was going to be watching him in January, dang near about to play for an AFC championship game in year 1. Right. You couldn't tell me you predicted that. Exactly.
if Arthur Blank, because being from Atlanta, you've seen them from Dion to Vic, of course, Matt Ryan, Julio, and as since 2017, we hadn't had a win a season with the Falcons. So I want to ask you this: hypothetically speaking, if Arthur Blank calls you to his multi-million-dollar mansion and he said, "Quincy, we've really been struggling since the Super Bowl. I need some advice on how to get this franchise back on track and becoming a consistent winner." What would you tell Mr. Blank?
Man, I personally, I'd be honored if he even asked me. But it starts with toughness, man, and consistency. And that's some of the best teams I ever played on, and that goes back to, playing for Southwest DeKalb, man. Having a toughness about you, and just being consistent about your grind. And some of my best teams, whether it was, playing at Georgia, whether it's playing, with the Cowboys, with the Jets. It's different ways you go about that. We had a lot of fun up in New York. We were a little bit more business-like, with the Cowboys. But, that coach, feels his team and knows how to go about constructing it, and then also how to prepare you guys to win games, man, on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. But man, you got to have a toughness about yourself. Football hadn't changed that much. The guys that run the ball in December and January in the NFL, some of are the guys who play on Super Bowl Sunday. Every 4 or 5 years you'll get that. You know. That show on turf with the Rams or some other teams that I'm not mentioning right now, but it comes down, man, to being tough and being consistent about your grind, and we talked about that earlier, man. So those are just a couple things, man. I'll be honored to tell Mr. Blank.
Toughness and consistency.
Yep, you
All right,
gotta.
all right. Q. Two more questions. I'm gonna let you get out of here. For again, I really appreciate your time, brother. When I sent you the thumbnail for the show, I said, we're gonna take it back to the young Quincy Carter, and you like, oh man, I like that. How old were you when you're in that picture?
I might have still been 19. No. Wait a minute. No, I was 20 because I turned 21 my freshman year. Yeah, so I was 20 in that picture. Heck yeah.
Okay, if you could go back in time and you could talk to that young Quincy Carter who still had hair at that point in time,
Mm.
what would Quincy Carter today tell that young man in front of that microphone?
Well, I said this on another podcast, man. I'm be consistent with that, and man, that drinking and smoking is gonna catch up with you, man. But then the other thing, I'll probably tell that young Quincy Carter, man, is I'll ask him, do you really know who you are right now? And be looking in that mirror, and ask him, do you really understand that you are a black quarterback at the University of Georgia? And the responsibilities that are being held with that. Do you really understand? Your every move is being watched. As much as you may not want it, as much as you may, try to act like, heck, we all just regular old Joe Blow, but we're not. So them are some of the questions, man. I have to ask little young Quincy Carter, man. Do you understand the magnitude of what's happening right now in your life?
Well said. And final thing, Q, before I let you get out of here. I think the age demographic that watch our channel here, they're about our age. And some of them a little bit older. We also got this channel is based off, NFL football team. So we got a lot of youngsters that watch it also, guys 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You have been steadfast in your faith in God, your relationship with your God. What closing words would you tell the 20 or the 21-year-old who's watching this now or gonna watch this tomorrow? What would you tell those young cats about how important it is to establish that relationship with God in your youth.
Yeah.
And and keep in mind, they still want to have fun. So you got to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, I heard the last part about it, boy. It's funny. We started talking about God, and then the phone rings. It ain't wrong since we been on here, and then the phone rings. So we already know the enemy is at work, man. But I'm gonna take it all the way back to that little kid, man, at Magruder Street Baptist Church, in Atlanta, man, and knowing and seeing, I could see, my mama shouting and some of the saints shouting, and then getting a little bit older and, getting baptized at 12 and then understanding, a little bit more about God. And then reading a book called The Prayer of Jabez, man, I never forget reading that book, man. And it scared me. Talk about enlarging your territories, but enlarging God's faith, that he's showing you and his love and his compassion that he's showing you, and then enlarging that and giving it and sharing it to others, man. And I just know, sitting here at 47 years old, man, it's been the most important thing I've ever done in my life. There's not a feeling, that I've ever felt from God sitting at that table in Austin, Texas, man, and writing and doing some step work in AA, and just looking up to God, man, because at some point, man, I had got to a point where I let myself down so much, and I let God down too. And I didn't even know if God was gonna still be there for me. And then just that feeling of, that day, and then days after, of just seeing God work in my life, seeing God pick me up from nothing, man, and give me strength and give me love. And then actually having this relationship with God and knowing, okay, my life ain't perfect right now. It's a lot of more things that I want to accomplish. A lot of things that ain't going right in my life. There's a lot of situations. I just bring out a couple. My kids situations with all my kids. Heck, I got 7 of them, man. But it ain't all perfect. But to have that strength and that love from God, man, to study His Word, to know Him more on a personal level, and then to be able to, go through some tough times and not have to deal with it, in other ways, whether it's drinking and smoking or heck, snorting some dang cocaine, or, going and cussing somebody out just because life ain't giving me what I need at the time, man, and understanding, man, everything is going to be okay. But then that's that wisdom that He's putting on me, and then just having so many situations that I can go through right now, and countless, times in my life, man, where things just look so dim, and to know, God, man, has been right there for me through everything, thick and thin. It means everything to me. So, so the youngins, man, out here, and no disrespect, that's just when you get up to that age, we say youngins, man.
Right.
Hey, try them out. Get on them knees and pray and ask God, man, to just show me you real. And I bet you anyway, man, whether it's through a TV, your friends talking or something, He gonna show you He real, man. And that's just how real it is, man. And I cherish it. And then knowing and been through and to go through so many things, man, and to have that wisdom on me, and know that it couldn't have came from nobody else. It's a special thing. But try Him out though, and He'll show you.
Very wise words. And also, somebody in the comment section said they work with your son at the Boys and Girls Club in Athens, Georgia, and he
Wow,
said that's your
wow.
twin.
Yeah, yes He is. Good Lord, yes He is.
Small world. Hey, Quincy, man, let everybody know like what you got going on. What's in the works, and everybody that want to hit you up on social media and talk about the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Your guy Dak Prescott, who you be going crazy over. Anything else? Where they can find you at?
Man, you can find me, email me, Quincy at QuincyCarter17.com. That'd be the best way to, Quincy at QuincyCarter17.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me. And then also, I can't, man, I wish I'm on my phone now. I wish I can give out Kayla's number right now. my right-hand God sister right now. But just email me, man, Quincy at QuincyCarter17.com. And
Quincy.
that's for quarterback lessons. That's for really, man. I really want people to really touch in and start engaging in my foundation too, man. We out here helping a lot of people, uplifting these kids, getting them away, staying away from this weed, man. That we know everybody is goddamn saying it's legal, man, but it's hurting our kids, man. These kids are struggling from middle school on up, man. And really getting out and speaking and talking to these kids, man. We're gonna help, a lot of people coming out of rehabs, getting them into sober livings, feeding the homeless. Our scholarship program we got coming up in April, man. So getting involved, looking out, on Facebook and Instagram, which is Quincy Carter. Quincy Lavon Carter on Instagram and Facebook. So really engaging, but email me, man, Quincy at QuincyCarter17.com, man, and let's get engaged.
Let's get it. And anytime you need me, QC, to like put anything out on the social media here, promote it for you, I'm a text away or a call away, bro. So just let me know.
I appreciate. I told you 4 years ago now. It's probably about 4 years ago now. I just hit you up out the blue. I said, man, you look professional doing this thing, man. So,
yeah, you did.
And I'm just, I'm glad to see you doing your thing. Heck, you didn't got me professional on this thing, man. I feel like I'm on ESPN or something. So no, seriously, man, no joke, man. I love what you do, man. You keep grinding, man, and giving these people what they need to hear. Because you always engaging, man. People love that, man. So much love.
Appreciate it, dog. Likewise, much love to you, man. And as always, man, I want to definitely thank you for your time. Every time I reach out to you and actually, you never hesitate. You never tell me no. And that really means a lot. I do appreciate it, brother. I'm going to let you get out of here. And, you be blessed. Take good care of yourself.
All right, you too, man. And we'll talk.
We'll talk, bro. Take it easy. All right, y'all. That was our guy, Quincy Carter, man. That was a great interview, I think. Always good to talk to QC, man, and just get, just that professional insight from a former starting NFL quarterback, a, former starting Georgia Bulldog, which is, my favorite college team, of course. So it's always good to talk to him and just get some of that and get some insight. And, it's hard to like measure, when you get that kind of opinions or perspective or insight, from somebody who did it at the highest level. And those of you who were not here when we started, I'll repeat this stat, but there are 1.1 million high school football players, and only about 0.023% will make it to the NFL. So that's less than 1%. You got a better chance of becoming a multi-millionaire statistically than you do playing in the NFL. So anytime you get to talk to somebody who did it at this level, take time out and just listen to the insight that they can provide to you. And I want to thank all of y'all, for coming in, engaging in the comments, and also just for your time and watching. I tried to get everybody's questions in that I could recall or that I could read. And I know I probably missed a few of them, but, just know it wasn't, me ignoring any questions. But, just trying to go within a structure of an interview and make it conversational, that's what I'll be trying to do when I do the interviews. But man, I really appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I know it's a game on right now, and so I'm gonna go ahead and watch the game again. I appreciate y'all. Tomorrow is Friday. We done popped out every day this week. Stay tuned. We might pop out tomorrow too. Until then, peace out.